Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What is something that is considered kindness but is just basic human decency? Letting sick employees take time off, especially in the service industry. Many times I would show up to work and see someone serving food sick as hell, all jacked up on Dayquil, but couldn't take time off because we were short-staffed. I used to work in food service and didn't take sick days off because I needed the money and everyone would give you shit for it. I agree, and it's also a food safety violation in most places. At my old job I would always cover shifts for people that were sick, yet whenever I was sick no one was willing to cover mine. Bringing things to lost and found at events. So a few years ago, 15 years ago, I went to do a litter pick for a company for the V Festival in England. We were employed with about 90 other people over 3 days. We'd form a line and march over the grass that was loaded with old tents and rubbish and anything you can imagine. Couple of us found bits of money and this and that. I found a beer cooler and my interest made me open it. I found a set of Mercedes keys, a wallet with about £450 and 2 mega expensive phones. I asked the manager what to do and they said they'd hand them in. I took it upon myself to find out whose phone they belonged to, as one was unlocked. I took the name and number and called them when I got home. An elderly Indian gentleman answered and I explained I'd found his stuff. We arranged to meet up. Luckily he was only an hour away, and I delivered his possessions. His wife was so happy to have them back, their car was towed home, that she made me and my family dinner that lasted about a week and a half. Tons of gorgeous Indian food. Just goes to show, hand in stuff rather than keeping it and you may feel like a better person. Edit, thanks for the awards. Edit 2, I think the main reason why I took it upon myself to return the items is that I'd saw what happens to things that turn up on Lost and Found. If they're not claimed, they sell them on, destroy them, or the staff keep them. I lost a hat once. Was pretty disappointed. It was kind of a special hat, irreplaceable, handmade from some stranger selling them at a festival. Months went by and I had nearly let it go. Still thought about that hat sometimes. Went into a place I had not been for a long time and there I saw my hat sitting in a lost and found basket. I was stoked. I recently found a lost phone in the street and picked it up so it didn't get run over. It was locked but there were some text messages with names. I messaged all those people on Facebook and let them know that I found their friend's phone. I took it home, but didn't hear from anyone, so took it to my local PD and left it with them. Edit when they opened on Monday. A couple days later the sheriff shows up at my door because I was in possession of a stolen phone. The owner used Find My Phone, saw it was at my house, and called them. Never tried to call the phone, the friends never told him I was trying to return it. It took a lot of explaining that I was just trying to do the right thing. Definitely made me question trying to help. I was once behind a person at a very large intersection when he made a left-hand turn. I saw something fly off the hood of his car and land in the very center of this 5-lane intersection. I thought it looked like a cell phone. I pulled over into the gas station right on the corner and went out into the middle of the intersection waving my hand so everyone would stop. It was a brand new iPhone 10. It literally was like 2 days after it released. Had to be $1,000 phone. It had a great case and a screen protector and flew into the intersection without getting a scratch or a dent. I held on to it. I couldn't make a call because it was locked. About an hour and a half later the phone rang and I answered it. Of course it was the owner. I told him what happened and I went back and met him at the gas station where I picked it up after he lost it. He was so grateful that I held on to it cause it would have been destroyed in the middle of that intersection if I hadn't picked it up. He insisted that he gave me $75 for my troubles. I would have done it for free but he was insistent because it would have cost him so much more to replace it. Yeah, that kind of thing will definitely make you question being a good Samaritan. I once saw 2 old ladies parked on the side of the highway, and figured they had car trouble. I pulled over ahead of them to see if I could be of assistance. I asked them if they needed help. They freaked out and called the cops, telling 911 that someone was trying to carjack them. I tried to explain that I was just checking if they were okay. And not 30 seconds later, 2 cops show up with their guns drawn. They did their song and dance, and I explained that I thought they were broken down, so I pulled over to see if I could help. Also, The cops got a good laugh when they saw that I was driving a relatively new Dodge Charger, while the old ladies were driving a beat-up Ford Taurus. Why would I abandon my car to carjack that piece of junk? It was funny and scary at the same time. I never found out why they had pulled over. I just got the hell out of there. But that experience definitely made me question doing such things. There would have been proof of you messaging their friends about finding the phone though, right? I mean, the police could argue that you were just covering your tracks, I guess. Just being polite to people in general. I've worked in the service industry and the education system, and it never ceases to amaze me how rude people can be. I've been on the internet and I'm still amazed at how rude people can be. There are some people who just jump to anger super quickly. I went camping a few years ago with a bunch of people. While I was playing guitar, this one guy over and over again kept telling me how good of a match I'd be for his sister. He wasn't happy she was dating a guy 10 years older than her and was telling me all about it while I just smiled and didn't pay much attention to him while I picked a few chords. I thought the whole situation was hilarious, so after he left me alone I put my guitar down and went to go tell my brother about it. The guy overheard bits and pieces and knew I was talking about his sister and assumed I must be talking shit about her. Suddenly he yelled, "The fuck are you saying about my sister?" and held my guitar above the fireplace, threatening to throw it in. Bunch of people leveled him, didn't blow up past that. Some people are just going to assume the worst in everyone and react accordingly. His sister could be perfect for me and I still wouldn't date her just at the prospect of him being a potential brother-in-law. Edit, I just figured I should add, since this has so much attention, it didn't take him long to apologize for acting like an ass. He was so embarrassed for what he did he had a few tears and hugged me. Picking up their rubbish in public and putting it in the bin. Legit. Just not littering. While I was out yesterday I saw a kid drop his disposable mask. His mom told him to pick it up. He said it's fine, he has another in his pocket, and they just left it on the ground. Midbogalig. I can't even imagine being so entitled. Being polite to retail and service workers. No idea how someone could just be openly rude to a complete stranger who's just doing their job, but it's tragically common. I was a server for 10 years and learned one very important thing. People are entitled and believe that servers are scum. I was going to college full-time and working full-time. Yet somehow I'm uneducated and worthless because I'm a server. People really believed that I was a lazy dropout working as a server. No one ever stopped to think that I was working to pay my way through college. And even if you were a dropout, how can you be lazy if you're working? I work customer service. Got yelled at twice yesterday for things outside my control. One was an outside service we work with, high-end fashion sent to a high-end dry cleaner via us, a standard dry cleaner. She didn't like how it came out and proceeded to scream at me like I did the cleaning. Sorry, I'm basically a delivery man at this point. I don't know why so and so did this to your boots. I can send them back, but I have no other info to give you. Then she rages for another 20-ish minutes as my line backs up and possibly pisses other customers off. The other was because we had the audacity to give our pressers the weekend off and the bridal party needed all their outfits pressed, even the fucking wedding dress. In 2 hours for the wedding at 4. WTF you wait so long to do that for? But yeah, no, scream at me about it. I had a man walk in a full restaurant for lunch on Saturday, order food, there is a wait. He yelled at a 17-year-old that he was diabetic and the wait was too long. My response was that his health isn't her responsibility, and if it was that bad he could have gone to Subway or carry a protein bar. Being patient with people. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying because in my mind that's how to human 101. Trying to be a better human is part of human 101. Keep trying. We're not perfect. On the other hand, not holding people up. Like I'm not going to plow through the grocery store aisle sprinting past people, but on the other hand if you're standing there waiting for someone to grab something from another aisle, maybe not stand in the middle blocking the whole thing. I went for a run this morning. The trail was maybe 6 feet wide and 2 ladies were standing off to the side with one getting something out of the other's backpack. That's fine and whatnot, but the annoying bit was the other 3 people with them just scattered about the trail standing there waiting. They moved when I stopped and asked, but they saw me running towards them, so you'd think they'd have just given room in the first place without having to be explicitly asked for it. People like that get a polite excuse me, the louder excuse me, then a shouted hash coming hash through. Being respectful to people who are service workers, retail/food. You should be calm and respecting to a waiter after a mistake, for example. It's basic human decency. Can I just say, this goes for all people who are trying to help you, not just waiters. I'm a veterinarian and for some reason, people have been going psycho on their vets and staff lately. Google it. Really, screaming, threatening, cursing, you wouldn't believe the stories. And that's when nobody has made a mistake. God forbid you text someone who'd rather be called or be full on the day they want a nail trim or something. I'm not talking about normal complaining, like this bill seems too high or I've been waiting too long. I'm talking about fuck you, cunt, type of comments said to female colleagues and receptionists, for example. For some reason, right now vet clinics all across the US, and most other countries, actually, are extremely busy and understaffed. For the first time in my lifetime, emergency clinics are closing because they can't get staffing. Pets with actual life-threatening emergencies are not able to get care, or their owners are having to drive them for hours, when obviously some of them don't have hours. People acting like crazed lunatics to vets and support staff are driving people away from the profession in droves. It's such a stressful profession as it is, that little extra of owner meanness just makes it not worth it. Edit to add, I'm still involved in vet clinics, but don't practice anymore, and even if I did I wouldn't and couldn't give specific medical advice on a pet I haven't seen. If you have a sick pet, call your vet or an emergency clinic if your vet is closed. They will help you. For general pet questions on just about anything you can think of, veterinariareporter.com is a great resource, all written by veterinarians. So don't thank me, thank your vet. It all means so much to them. The number of times I've called into some customer support line and they've excessively thanked me for not yelling at them. It's pretty sad. And then I ask, do you get a lot of people yelling at you? And they go, oh, no. Not many. Only a few today. I called recently to make sure my payment processed for a speeding ticket I got, to avoid any warrants I guess. The lady on the line was so shocked by my call and ended the call with "I love you." I made her day. I can't imagine the type of callers she gets on a daily/hourly. I feel like a customer service god some days. I'm like a bomb diffuser for difficult people. Doesn't always work. I usually get 1 to 2 people a week who don't to be helped, don't want sympathy, and just want to yell. But compare those 1 to 2 a week to the multiple angry callers most of my co-workers deal with every day. We're not small either. I work for a call center that handles all the incoming calls for a government program, so non-stop calls from upset people. A lot of it just comes from my voice and demeanor of the phone, which tends to be calm and friendly. I'm also a guy. Women get shit on the phone so much more than guys. I'm sorry, ladies. However, there's a bunch of techniques I've learned to deal with problematic people. Sympathize. Some people are just looking to vent, let them. And when they're done, say, wow, that really sucks. They just want to be heard and know their feelings are valid. Once you convince them of that, they calm down pretty quick and are open to solutions. Get mad with them. Some people are looking for an ally. Someone to be on their side. It takes so little to do so. What? They charged you how much / made you wait that long? Well, that's just ridiculous. Hang on while I check on a few things for you. I can't believe this. Suddenly, you are not just some faceless corporate drone, you are a fellow human being who is just as pissed off as they are at their situation. And even if you can't resolve or smooth over their issue, simply saying you're going to check and see what can be done makes you a friend. While these often still leave people pissed at the company, they won't be directing that anger to you and are more open to hearing your suggestions, even if it requires them to jump through hoops. Fight them. You have to be careful with this one and know the right time to use it. But there is a certain breed of people out there looking to walk over someone, and if you let them they only get madder. Only way to put an end to it is to be a bit of a jerk, make it seem like it's your time they are wasting. Obviously you don't swear or call them names, but be aggressively assertive. Raise your voice a little, smack them down with a "do you want help" or "just want to yell?" Or "stop talking. Listen to what I am telling you." Throw shit back at them, especially if it's their own words. Had a guy once state in his rantings about a request for documents that it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. I just replied back in a cold, deadpan voice, "This is the worst thing that has ever happened to you." Really? Just completely shut him down, and the call went very well after that.